All right, welcome to day 2 of the Ultimate Fasting Experience. This is Dr. CJ Benkert, and we are spending this week learning about fasting. And if you've registered and you've made a commitment to you and your better health, you have received some weekly schedules, some fasting guides, and you are participating. You have joined us on Telegram, where we have a group support chat going. So today is day 2. We started yesterday, and what I'm doing each day of this ultimate fasting experience is I'm dedicating each day to one of the benefits of fasting. So there are 7 benefits of fasting, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to show you those 7 benefits. All right. Here are the 7 benefits of fasting. Number 1, cellular autophagy. We went over that in detail yesterday. So if you missed that, please go back and watch the recording. If you've registered for the Ultimate Fasting Experience, you will have received the recording in an email. Otherwise, you can watch the recording here in the Facebook group. The second benefit of fasting is a rise in stem cells, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So what are stem cells? That's what I'm going to be discussing. You've probably heard of stem cells. It's kind of a big thing now. It's a big biohack. People pay thousands of dollars to have stem cells injected in their body. And guess what? You can make them for free. Okay, number 3, ketones. What does that have to do with health? We'll talk about that tomorrow. 4, energy diversion. That's a huge benefit of fasting. Your body now finally has a time and the space to heal and to recycle and to regenerate at a cellular level. 5, hormone optimization. How many of you feel like your hormones are out of balance? Especially any of my women out there that are listening or joining in live on Facebook. How many of you, after maybe your first or second birth, just your body started betraying you and your hormones never got back to normal, and you've struggled with your health and your weight and your energy and your just general sense of thriving for life since that time? You can change that. You can reverse that. You can balance your hormones again. You can get your body back to where it was in your 20s and 30s before you had that baby. It's possible. Your body can heal. 6, healing the gut. Have you heard of dysbiosis? How many people have gut issues? We now know that most disease starts in your gut. Did you know that you could heal your gut with the power of fasting? Just one 24-hour fast helps to die off all of that bad stuff in your gut, all of those bad bacteria and yeast and fungi and parasites. So there's a delicate balance of good and bad microbes in your gut. And when it's out of balance, it creates dysbiosis. It creates leaky gut. And that's what leads to most autoimmune conditions. Hashimoto's, thyroid. How many of my women out there are struggling with thyroid issues? Raise your hand, comment below. It's running rampant now. It's one of the leading autoimmune diseases that most women don't even realize that they have. And what's the answer medically? Here, just take this thyroid hormone. Is it really a thyroid hormone problem? Or is it a gut problem? Is it a cellular receptor problem? 7th benefit of fasting, you actually get to reset your DNA. We have been taught for years that we are doomed by our DNA, that we are doomed by our genetics. And I promise you that's not true. We are not doomed by our genetics. We now know that there is a science out there called epigenetics, epi on top of the genes. And we now know unequivocally, science-based, based on clinical studies that you can actually turn genes on and off with our lifestyle choices, our dietary choices. Okay, so those are the 7 benefits of fasting. This is the guide that you'll receive if you've registered. One of the guides takes you through every day of a pure water fast, what to make sure that you're doing, make sure that you're getting good minerals and electrolytes in, what to expect each day, day 1, day 2, day 3, what's going on in your body during each of those days. Now, the ultimate fasting experience, you have 3 choices. The first choice is that you are going to choose a weekly schedule. So we are now on day 2. It's still not too late to join in. Most of the people that registered started this weekly schedule yesterday, but let's say you haven't registered yet, you're just now seeing me live for the first time, register. So at the top of the Facebook group page is an event that I created, and in the description of that Facebook event, the Ultimate Fasting Experience, you can click on the Zoom registration link and you can register for this experience, and you'll receive all of the guides and all of the support. You're going to be invited into our Telegram group chat so that I can support you and love you and encourage you. And everybody that's going through the experience, they're in there together, and we're talking and we're asking questions, and you're going to be able to choose your choice, your experience for the week. So the first choice is the beginner schedule. There's 3 schedules that you can choose for the first choice. There's beginner, intermediate, and advanced. This is the beginner schedule. This is the intermediate schedule. And this is the advanced schedule. And this is a schedule that I'm following. Some of my clients that have been doing different types of intermittent fasting and clean eating and have healed their metabolism to a point where they can fast are doing the advanced schedule. It's quite a stretch. So you can always change these dates up. So let's say you sign up today, you can always just switch this and cross this out the Sunday and make it Monday, and you can still go through the 7 days with our support. So last night or yesterday, Sunday, my girlfriend and I, we didn't eat all day, and we just ate dinner. Just an amazing, healthy, low carbohydrate, good, healthy proteins, healthy fats and vegetables for dinner. And now today, Monday, we're going to have an amazing lunch, right? And then we're not going to eat till tomorrow, Tuesday night dinner. That's a 30-hour fast, guys. So this is pretty challenging, but it's fun. You're gonna test your metabolism. You're going to create what we call hormesis, which is a positive stress. The healthy person, the happiest person, the most energetic person is going to be the most adaptable metabolically. And that's what fasting does. It makes you more flexible metabolically. It teaches your body how to go from burning just sugar and carbs for fuel to burning fat for fuel as well. When you burn sugar and carbs, you're creating inflammation, aging, and oxidation and fat storage. So we don't want to be burning sugar and carbs all the time. When you burn fat for fuel, which is what fasting is so beautiful at helping your body create, you're burning ketones, and it's clean energy, and it decreases the aging process, and it reduces rust in the body, reduces oxidation, balances out your blood sugar, feeds your brain with ketones, helps decrease seizures, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. We now know that insulin resistance is the fastest growing disease on the planet. And I'm going to show you and read from you a book today to talk a little bit about that. So that's choice 1. You're going to have a weekly schedule. Choice 2 is you're going to be doing a Prolon. And I do have a few of you that are doing the Prolon kit. And if you use my discount code, you're going to get the Prolon kit at cost. So prolonfmd.com, Dr. CJ, prolonfmd.com/Dr. CJ. And it's going to take you to my Prolon website, and see how it says $185 for a 5-day kit. That's the normal retail price. However, if you click on this kit and choose this kit, you will not see the wholesale discount until you hit checkout. So as soon as you hit checkout, depending on what you want to purchase, a 3-box cycle, a 4-box cycle, or just the 1-box cycle, it's going to bring you down to the wholesale cost. There's no other place on the web that you can buy a Prolon kit for $148. That is the cheapest priced anywhere. So that's your second choice, Prolon. Third choice is a 5-day water fast, or anywhere, I take that back, anywhere from a 3-day, which is 3-day, which is 72 hours, all the way to a 7-day water fast. That's your third choice. Okay, let's stop sharing screen. All right, so let's talk about stem cells. Let's talk about stem cells. All right, so what are stem cells? Stem cells are undifferentiated cells. So when an egg and the sperm come together and they create a brand new entity, a brand new cluster of cells, when those two cells come together and the miracle of life occurs, you have this little cell that doubles, triples, quadruples, just starts to grow into an embryo. And then in the womb, over those 9 months, all these different cells that just started off as a glob of cells. It just started off as 2 cells, and then 4, and then 8, and then 16, and then whatever the 16 doubled is, 32. Those cells started replicating. But a stem cell is an undifferentiated cell that can turn into any cell needed. So it can turn into a nerve cell. It can turn into an eye cell. It can turn into a liver cell. It can turn into a pancreas cell, a blood cell, a kidney cell. You get the picture? So stem cells are typically found in our bone marrow, and they're very active as we're growing in the womb, as we're born and we start growing. These stem cells are able to create new tissue and then brings us into adulthood. In adulthood, we have very little to no stem cell activity occurring, but we do still have access to those stem cells in the spleen and in the bone marrow. And guess what allows those stem cells to be wakened up? And you can have access to those stem cells. Fasting. So fasting activates stem cells, because the first benefit of fasting, right? Remember, autophagy, self-eating, the body's eating up diseased, dead, worn out parts, worn out cells that are getting ready to turn into cancer. Our body eats those up. So when you're not eating, you give your body the opportunity to clean out, to recycle, to get rid of things that are going to hurt us in the future or are hurting us now. There's no other process. There's no pill. There's no nutrient. There's no herb. There's no diet that does what fasting does in the body. So we're able to go in and eat up diseased tissue, cells that are getting ready to turn into cancer. Your body uses all of those proteins, all of those worn out parts for energy instead of eating. And then the other thing that your body uses for energy is fat. So even myself right now at 20, let's say I'm about 25% body fat. I just turned 60 this year. 9 years ago, I was almost 200 pounds. I was a mess. I was depressed. I had no energy. I hurt everywhere. And I was ready to give up on life. And I went on a journey, and I was motivated to figure out why my body was betraying me. And I looked at everything I had learned over the years from my grandparents and my mom and all the mentors that I had followed all through chiropractic school and all of my postgraduate training on nutrition and hormone balancing and detoxification and fasting and herbs and concentrated foods. And I started experimenting with different ways of eating and trying to figure out, how do I get my energy back? how do I have that lean, healthy, young metabolism like I did in my 20s, where I could pretty much eat whatever I wanted and not gain weight? So I figured it out with the help of a lot of mentors and a lot of research and a lot of studying. And I practiced on myself and I started practicing on my chiropractic patients. And we came up with this amazing strategy to teach your cells, to teach your body how to burn fat for fuel and how to get into a place that the body can start healing itself. So your body's going to either use these worn out parts for energy, which is mostly protein. It's going to break it down. It's called glyconeogenesis, where it's going to break down proteins for energy, or you can actually use fat for fuel. So at 25% body fat, 150 pounds, I have at least 30 pounds of fat on my frame, right? Well, 1 pound of fat is the equivalent of 3,500 calories of eating food. So do you think if I'm fasting and I'm supporting my body properly and I'm healthy enough to switch into fat burning, which 88% of Americans are not, that I'm going to be hungry during a fast? No, because my body is metabolically healthy and flexible, and I can easily go from sugar burning to fat burning, because those are the only two things your body can use for fuel: sugar or fat. Oatmeal, fruit, yogurt, granola breaks down into sugar, fat. Those are the only two things your body can use for fuel. So I'm not going to be hungry because I can easily start burning a quarter of a pound, a half a pound of fat per day and give myself an extra 1,000, 2,000 calories per day, which is about all my body needs at 150 pounds. That's my daily caloric intake needed to keep me at my weight. I can easily get those calories by eating up the worn out cells and organs and tissues that my body doesn't need anymore, that aren't healthy, and or concurrently burning fat for fuel. So when you're in that state, when you're in fat burning, when you're not eating and you're breaking down and using up those old worn out parts, the other thing that's happening at the very same time, because if you're going to recycle and throw away, now we want to bring in something new, right? So if you go into your closet and you're like, okay, it's time to clean out my closet. I want a new look. I just want a fresh start. And you go into your closet and you just start pulling out, different clothes and different things. Like, okay, I've worn that in a year. I'm getting rid of that. I haven't worn that in 5 years, getting rid of that. That doesn't fit me anymore. I'm getting rid of that. When you clean out your closet, what's the most amazing, fun, exhilarating thing to do? Go out and buy new clothes, right? We want to buy new clothes. We want to constantly be, growing and expanding and having new experiences, new clothes, new things. That's what life is about, is, just creating and making experiences for ourselves and connecting with other people. So the stem cells, while you're fasting, are starting to become activated, and they're in their dormant position, and we're waking them up. So that when you stop fasting, you have all these stem cells that have been proven to be activated, circulating through your bloodstream now. Because now when you eat up old worn out tissue, when you eat up scar tissue like an old knee injury, and you clean up that cartilage, now as soon as you start eating again the right healthy foods, which is what I'm going to teach you during this week of the ultimate fasting experience, the stem cells that have now been activated and have now been taken out of that dormant sleeping spot are now going to differentiate into whatever your body needs. If you cleaned out some old diseased, worn out liver cells, those stem cells can go into and build new liver cells. You can build new eye cells, new kidney cells, new pancreas cells, right? Like type 1 diabetics who can't create insulin anymore, you can make new cells. Your body can heal. The power that made your body heals your body. That's a chiropractic saying that I've lived with for the last 30 or 40 years. The power that made your body can heal your body if you give your body the good stuff and take away the bad stuff. And that's what I'm here to teach you. What's the good stuff? What's the bad stuff? Right? Okay, so those are the first two benefits of fasting: autophagy, eating up all the bad stuff, and number two, stem cells, brand new, undifferentiated cells that people pay thousands of dollars for, that you can mobilize those stem cells that are lying dormant in your bone marrow by fasting so that you can create new cells without paying thousands of dollars. So in conclusion, I'd like to share my screen again. And I want to show you what are the good foods I want you eating. So most of you are doing one of the fasting schedules. And then I have a small cluster of you, maybe 7, 8 of you that are doing the water fast. And maybe only, I think maybe only 2 that are actually doing the Prolon. So the greatest majority of those that have joined the fasting experience are doing one of the 3 schedules. So I thought it'd be important today to take a couple of minutes to share with you what I want you eating during the schedule. All right, so here is one of the resources that you will get if you register for the Ultimate Fasting Experience. This is one of my healthy foods lists. So here are the things that I want you to be eating during your eating time. So yesterday, we only ate dinner for the advanced schedule. And so we had chicken, we had olive oil, we had quinoa, we had squash. What else did we have? We had squash, quinoa, chicken, a little bit of cheese, jalapeno peppers. It was amazing. So we had healthy oils. We had healthy vegetables, right? We had zucchini and yellow squash, and we had healthy proteins. So pasture raised, free range chicken, organic free range antibiotic chicken. And then C, the starchies, that's moderation. You want to be really careful with the starchy carbohydrates. I recommend no fruit at all other than just the low sugar fruit. Strawberries are the lowest in sugar. And we're going to abstain from any dead processed packaged food. So I encourage you during this weekly schedule, although you're challenging yourself as far as when you're eating and how you're eating, I would encourage you that you'll have an easier time throughout the week if you choose from this healthy food list. So healthy oils, and if you are going to do raw nuts and seeds, keep it to 1/4 cup, because even though raw nuts and seeds have healthy fats, they also have carbohydrates and they're very dense. And they don't have a lot of water. So you want to be careful with too many nuts. So no more than 1/4 cup per day. I would stay away from most whole grains. That's why it says in moderation. So like last night, I had a little bit of quinoa. That's good. Unlimited vegetables, all of these unlimited low carbohydrate, high fiber vegetables, all good. Okay, now I'm going to go back to unsharing my screen. And I wanted to stop share. I wanted to now just briefly talk about insulin resistance for the last 5 minutes of this live support call. Make sure that you register for the experience to get all of my guides and to receive the recording of each day's 30-minute support call and training. You'll get that via email by the end of today. Okay, so this is a book that pretty much changed my life. This is by Dr. Benjamin Bickman. It's called Why We Get Sick. So I just wanted to read a couple of excerpts from this book. So insulin resistance, a study was done out of the University of North Carolina in 2021, and they looked at insulin resistance or metabolic health, same thing, in the American population, and they looked at 5 main parameters of what determines how healthy you are inside at a cellular level. So they looked at blood pressure, they looked at HDL versus triglycerides, the only thing that matters, by the way, not total cholesterol. They looked at waist circumference, and then they did the body composition analysis that we do in the clinic or we do with remote clients using the right equipment. And they looked at body fat percentage, muscle mass, cellular water. And based on those 5 parameters, those 5 biomarkers, so a biomarker is something that you can measure that tells you how healthy or sick you are inside at a cellular level, how prone you are to dis-ease. And they determined in 2021 that 88% of us are metabolically unhealthy, which is the same thing as saying that 88% of us are insulin resistant. And what does that matter? So from this book, Why We Get Sick, and I highly recommend you purchase this book, it says, in fact, insulin resistance is the most common health disorder worldwide. It affects more people, adults and children each year than any other. Did you know that? And here's another amazing fact. The specific, is that what I wanted? No, sorry. Here's another amazing fact. Insulin resistance directly causes high blood pressure, high cholesterol, arterial plaques, and more. He learned, Dr. Benjamin Bickman, and he is a metabolic health scientist. This is what he does. This is what he's dedicated his entire life to. He has learned through his research, both human research, animal studies, and he takes cells and studies cells in a petri dish and looks at the mitochondria and the cellular receptors at a cellular level. Those are the three ways that they conduct all of their studies in his lab. He has learned that insulin resistance is present in almost every, you guys need to hear this. I'm going to say this again. He learned that insulin resistance is present in almost every chronic disease. It was especially present in the chronic body can heal as long as you give your body the good stuff and take away the bad stuff. And there is nothing more powerful to start the process of health and healing and cellular health than fasting. Whether it's a water fast, whether it's intermittent fasting, but just stop eating every 2 hours. It's not the best way to create health and balance your blood sugar. So that's why I'm here. That's what I'm trying to teach you. So thank you for choosing yourself today. Thank you for watching this training. And I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be delivering a training for 30 minutes each day from today until Saturday. Register for the Ultimate Fasting Experience. Participate. Choose yourself today. Do you want to live longer? Do you want to feel better? You can change how you feel. Do you have diabetes? You can reverse that. I reverse that all day long when I work with my clients. Do you have insulin resistance? Do you have PCOS? Do you have a thyroid issue? Do you have lupus? Are you afraid that you're going to end up with cancer? Or have you already had cancer and you don't want it to come back? Then take control of your health and stop depending on someone outside of you to change your life and the quality of your life. The daily choices that you make control your health, your energy, your joy, what your life is going to be like. You have the power to change your life. And I believe in you and I love you. And this is Dr. CJ Benkert with Pura Vida Wellness, loving you, educating you, inspiring you, and empowering you to live your most amazing, healthy, energetic, joyful life in mind, body, heart, and spirit. Peace out.